Hi, I'm Malcolm Beatty, and welcome to the Jesus Mentality Episode 2. Today we'll be discussing NBA legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bible legend Daniel. Let's start with basketball. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the greatest players of all time. You can even make the case he's the greatest of all time. But if there's one thing that's not debated, is that Kareem is the greatest college basketball player of all time. When I was doing research for this, I could not find one article or video that did not have Kareem, who was named Lou Alcindor at the time, ranked number 1. But before he dominated college, he dominated high school basketball. Let's take a look.
Lou is a 7-foot 1-inch phenomenon, showing his prowess as he leads his team to its third consecutive New York Catholic high school title. Alcindor in the post is almost unstoppable, as you can see.
In 4 years at Power Memorial, Lou Alcindor's teams won 95 games and lost just 6. He justified the massive expectations that had been growing since he was in junior high school. And that turned him into perhaps the most celebrated college recruit in basketball history.
Any basketball coach that had not heard of Louis Alcindor isn't doing much of a job of coaching.
One of my favorite stories about Kareem is during his first year at UCLA. Now back then, first-year players weren't allowed to play on the varsity team, so Kareem had to play on the freshman squad. During an exhibition game, the freshman team played the varsity team. And this wasn't any ordinary varsity team. This was the back-to-back national champions. And even though they had some players from the previous squad leave for the NBA, they were still the preseason number 1 ranked team. Kareem's freshman team beat that varsity team by 15 points. And Kareem had 31 points and 21 rebounds. All right, let's get to Daniel now. In the last episode, I referenced Daniel as someone in the Bible who, outside of Jesus, we could emulate. In my opinion, he's one of the best examples we have for that. So we're going to read Daniel chapter 1, and for the sake of time, I won't be reading the entire chapter, just specific verses. But I encourage you guys to read the entire chapter and the book. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. Then the king instructed Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, to bring some of the children of Israel and some of the king's descendants and some of the nobles. And the king appointed for them a daily provision of the king's delicacies and of the wine which he drank, and 3 years of training for them, so that at the end of that time they might serve before the king. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the king's delicacies, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the chief of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. So Daniel said to the steward whom the chief of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, "Please test your servants for 10 days, and let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink." And at the end of 10 days, their features appeared better and fatter in flesh than all the young men who ate the portion of the king's delicacies. Now at the end of the days, when the king had said that they should be brought in, the chief of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. Then the king interviewed them, and among them all none was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore they served before the king. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding about which the king examined them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers who were in all his realm. Daniel 2 verse 48. Then the king promoted Daniel and gave him many great gifts, and he made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief administrator over all the wise men of Babylon. Just like Kareem was able to separate himself early on as a high school player and a freshman with his dominant play, Daniel was able to separate himself early on from all the magicians, astrologers, and wise men with his dominance and wisdom that the Lord gave to him. Let's get back to Kareem. During his sophomore year, his first year on varsity, Kareem led UCLA to an NCAA championship with an undefeated record of 30-0. Everything was looking good, but it was about to change.
But in the near term, a very different controversy would emerge in the fall of 1967, when the NCAA announced it was banning the dunk. The organization cited injury concerns as the reason, but the overwhelming sense was otherwise.
Given the glorification of the dunk in our age, it is hard for anyone under the age of 40, I guess, to imagine a period of time in which it was an evil act. The number one reason we all assumed was the dominance of one person.
They're clearly trying to neutralize Lou Alcindor and at UCLA.
Now, as we get back to Daniel, in chapter 5, Babylon is invaded and Persia takes power. And in chapter 6, things change for Daniel as well. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 satraps to be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 governors, of whom Daniel was one, that the satraps might give account to them, so that the king would suffer no loss. Then this Daniel distinguished himself above the governors and satraps, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king gave thought to setting him over the whole realm. So the governors and satraps sought to find some charge against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could not find no charge or fault, because he was faithful, nor was there any error or fault found in him. So these governors and satraps thronged before the king and said thus to him, King Darius, live forever. All the governors of the kingdom, the administrators and satraps, the counselors and advisors, have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree that whoever petitions any god or man for 30 days, except you, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went home, and in his upper room, with his windows open toward Jerusalem, he knelt down on his knees 3 times that day, and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as was his custom since early days. So the king gave the command, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. But the king spoke, saying to Daniel, Your God, whom you serve continually, he will deliver you. Then the king arose very early in the morning, and went in haste to the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried out with a lamenting voice to Daniel. The king spoke, saying to Daniel, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions? Then Daniel said to the king, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, so that they have not hurt me, because I was found innocent before him. And also, O king, I have done no wrong before you. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius, and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Just as the Bible shares with us that Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius, even after being thrown in the lion's den, I want to share with you Kareem's achievements, even after they banned the dunk. In his 3 years playing varsity, Kareem won the NCAA championship 3 times. He won the Final Four Most Outstanding Player 3 times. He won College Basketball Player of the Year 3 times. He even led his conference in scoring and rebounding 3 times. In basketball, the great ones can't be stopped. It doesn't matter what you do, they will find a way to succeed. For Christians, our greatness comes when we rely on Jesus. And when we rely on him, he'll do the rest, and we'll become unstoppable too. Psalm 5:12. For you, O Lord, will bless the righteous. With favor you will surround him as with a shield. 2 Chronicles 16:9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is loyal to him. All right, that's a wrap on episode 2 of Jesus Mentality. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening.